All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here again, tuning into the action, of course, for the of this current season. This will be the first season of this game on this setup, and already I bring you the news that because of some attendance issues and people not being here, we already have our drivers champion being crowned, and that is none other than Hazy Ozzy, the Irishman living in the UK, I believe, having a great season. So congratulations to him. The drivers has been completed. The constructors has been completed. We are now just here to have some fun and see what happens for the race tonight, and then looking to possibly, get some last-minute auditions in, shall we say, and see who can potentially switch teams for next year. It's going to be really fun. Either way, I think we are ready to go. Let me just double-check the settings here. But if you can hear me, drivers, I believe we are good to ready up. So go ahead and do that. But let me just double check. One shot quality sprint and feature race as always. Strict corner cutting. Formation lap is going to be off because it broke yesterday. But other than that, everything else is going to be as it usually is. So we will dive in as soon as the drivers hit that X button and get the show underway. So again, we are here for the finale. For Flower Cup, this is going to be Canada, the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, the legendary F1 track, originally constructed, I don't even know when, a long time ago now, in conjunction with the whole island being built for the Olympics being held in Montreal back then. But it's an awesome track, one that I always look forward to, both in real life and also on the virtual realm, with lots of walls, lots of turns, lots of straights, lots of action to entertain us, and hopefully we see some awesome battles that we have, been seeing every race. Anyway, we are here a little bit smaller crew tonight. I think we have a maximum of 15 drivers as of now, potentially a couple more coming in. So definitely a little bit under what we're used to, but we're still going to enjoy it. At the end of the day, it's about quality over quantity. One bad racer can ruin the entire race sometimes. So let's see these 15 drivers do battle, with the usual names, of course, being involved. Zavgab, Chenzo, Hemi, Hazy, of course, are all here. We do have Bella Stew, who is relatively new, joining us, and I think a complete random driver who we literally pulled in from the street, who is going to hit the track as well. But anyway, we're going to start with our qualifying session. Right now, I'm going to do my usual tradition and say that Chenzo is going to be my pick for the pole today. And here's the new driver I mentioned, FC1 Ansi. So let's see what he can get up to. But anyway, let's see what Chenzo does. He is my pick. And I'm hitting the wrong buttons. I apologize. I am rusty today, guys. Okay, here we go. Chenzo, down to P5, coming down to turn 3 and now 4. The really fast chicane that is partially blind with some very close walls on the inside. Lots of fun to blast through there, as Chenzo did, and he is now into P1 as I predicted, with Zavgab being very close to him on track. I think sometimes the one-shot quality does distort the exact spacing of everything. I think, there might be more or less time than what we see between the two drivers, but either way, we see them being neck and neck. And looks like the new driver we have, the nameless FC1 Anti, is right up there as well. So he's giving the drivers something to worry about, as now Zav and Chenzo drive through the turn 10 hairpin, heading down the straight towards the very famous Wall of Champions. Sorry, that was turn 12, was it? I'll have to take a look at the trap map in between here. Anyway, Chenzo is now heading towards the Wall Champions. It's the last real corner, but it's also the hardest corner. Doesn't want to mess this up. Take curb on the in and outside, and he has done very well through there. And he should have done enough to take that pole position, which he does by a very large margin. Looks like Zav had a moment there with a second, and more than that, a second and 3/10 almost, separating Chenzo and Anti in P2. And yeah, we did see a lot of drivers DSQing there. The track limits are always going to be an issue for this track, particularly with the nature of the circuit. Trying to get people to use as much of the track as possible, but of course, with that comes the risk that you use too much, and a penalty is now placed on your lap. So as you can see, we saw Chenzo taking the pole, of course, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers DSQ'd due to some track limit violation, I imagine. So that's going to really jumble up our field. It'll give Chenzo a very good chance in the feature race to kind of get away from everyone. But we will see how this sprint race looks. And I'm not sure how this is going to play out because we do have some DSQ drivers in here. Like, for instance, in Zav in P10 there, does he keep that P10? I imagine he wouldn't. But then who would inherit that pole position? I wonder. Let's see what the game does here. This is going to be interesting. But now we're getting ready for our first race of the evening, the sprint race. And we do see some cloud cover, potentially a damp track. No, maybe not. I do see some clear asphalt there. But either way, we're in for a good race today. The weather can always play a factor coming down the St. Lawrence, as it always does. Rain is very common here, and we may be seeing that later on. But now, as you can see kind of on the corner or the middle right side of the screen there, we do have the drivers on the grid prepared to take the green flag, which will begin immediately. Because we turned the formation lap off because it's glitchy. So we're going to get right into the action here with the 5 red lights turning on. Let's see who's on pole position. Let's see what the game did with this. And Zav does inherit pole, so there you go. It's purely about your position, with Zav being in P10. As anyway, the race is underway now. But we did see some movement there. Potentially someone false starting. Someone in the back there. I'm not sure who that was. But anyway, we are away with Zav holding P1 from Isasco, who is bumped with Solrak there. We have another random in here. Gianki Rush. Let's see what he can do with FC1 as well. The 2 unknown quantities. What will happen with them as we head through turn 3 and 4 now? No crazy carnage that I can see, but looks like something did happen there involving that new driver, who is now retired from the session and immediately left. So yeah, he's someone who we just pulled in, and looks like Tilmo has also left again. So thank you, Tilmo, for doing that for the 2nd time in a row. Anyway, we are now continuing the action here. Let me get the track map up. Looks like we are still under green flag. So no cautions yet with Zavgab holding almost a 2nd gap now to Isasco. And Zakario doing really good in the past couple races. We see a 3 wide moment there between Chenzo, JJ, and Tej, with Chenzo on the inside. Let's go on board, as I always like to be, with Chenzo neck and neck with JJ now, heading down the straight towards the Wall Champions, the very famous corner. Who will be the champion today? Let's see. Chenzo on the inside, JJ holding his line, but of course nowhere to go, and Chenzo will pounce and take that position with ease, and JJ really should have backed off there because that allowed Hemi and now Sweet Tej to get a run on him. And Tej is going to be right beside him into turn 1. Oh, goes on the grass there, cuts the corner a little bit just to maybe make room for the cars ahead. Looks like the move was viewed as clean in the eyes of race control, so he didn't have to give that back, and I take back what I said. Tilmo is now back in the session. Thank you for coming back. Anyway, Chenzo now is behind Solrak, who is his teammate, I believe, and Chenzo does immediately dive to the inside. And Solrak will now be in P6 with Chenzo looking to make a recovery, and oh my god, Chenzo has a rare mistake there. He gets on the power a little bit too much, and he spins around. Coming out of the chicane there. That is a rare moment for Chenzo, who now is in P12. So he's really going to have to make some moves here if he wants to get back to where he was. And he's really going to have to maybe look to the feature race now to make a mark. Anyway, we have a battle here between Zakario and Anti, with Anti showing some good pace so far. Let's check out the tires really quick. With the soft tires being the primary choice and the super soft being the other one. So we have some very soft tires being used here. And I imagine that super soft may not fare very well. Similar kind of situation to Baku, just not as extreme, with lots of slow speed acceleration zones. And Chenzo does pick up a time penalty as well. Oh my goodness, he's having a howler today. Anyway, lots of slow acceleration zones, so the rear tire will be under some stress. Not as much as Baku, but it will be doing most of the work tonight. So again, I'm just a little bit weary of those Super Softs and how they'll fare. But anyway, we have Sweet Tige now on the Super Soft, going around the outside of Solrak after Solrak goes a little bit deep there out of turn 4, and Solrak almost loses it through turn 5, which allows Bella, or JJ, sorry, to go for a move. The two make contact on the exit of the turn, with the drivers, you know, maintaining relatively where they were. Nothing too crazy going on there. I didn't see any bodywork flying. But now JJ is being overtaken by Hazy as well, who is your driver's champion for this F2 season. So again, congratulations, Hazy. I would have loved to have Rami in here tonight, but of course things happen. And either way, enjoy the victory parade while it lasts for this race. We see Solrak there with a big lockup, which allows JJ to be right alongside of him, as well as Chenzo. And Chenzo now is going to be looking to come back, starting with JJ here. Both of them, I believe, have their DRS open. This is getting very close. JJ is pushing Chenzo to the outside. Chenzo does allow JJ to take the optimum line, but he immediately cuts back, using his experience there to make that position happen. Isasko is falling back from Zav, and these three now are still in a good battle, with Isasko heading a train with the new driver Anti and Zakario doing battle now through turn 5. Anyone going to try into 6? No, not for now. Isasko doing a decent enough job to maintain the track position, but let's see if he can do that for another lap, as we have these straights coming up now with Anti opening the DRS. Looks like he's opening it and closing it, perhaps looking to just put his car in the perfect spot he wants to be. We see Zakario take a nice line through there, as now Anti is looking to make the move. What will Isasko do here? Isasko will initially move to the inside, but then take the racing line, which Anti does copy him as well. And Anti now gets the better drive, the better traction. Let's see what happens into the World Champions here. Will Isasko yield position? Will he keep his elbows out? He doesn't know this guy, so it's pure racing right now. No reputations to uphold, and Isasko does allow Anti to make the move. And appears that was the right thing to do, because that allowed Isasko to stay close to Anti while he does pick up the 3-second penalty. So Isasko may be able to hold on to that. We are already on lap 5, but Isasko is hit from behind from Zakario, I believe. Just some small contact in the rear through turn 2. Very, very minor contact, but it doesn't take much to unsettle these cars into those braking zones especially. Ask me how I know about that. Wink, wink. Anyway, Sweet Tige is right behind Isasko now, recovering from that moment. What will happen with these two? These, of course, have a history between the two drivers here that we need to talk about, with lots of incidents taking place over the months and years. They should know each other well by now. Let's see what will happen coming most likely down the next straight, with Hemi also pressuring Zakario. So two kind of battles to keep an eye on here. What will Hemi do into the hairpin? Looks like he's going to go for it. Relatively easy on the inside. Zakario leaves the room. Very nicely done. And Hemi is through, and I believe he did time that well to open his DRS flap again. But let's see. He did. So yeah, that's the experience there showing. You know, making the move and getting the DRS at the same time. Tige looks like didn't quite get close enough to Isasko. See that proliferate throughout, the grid tonight, with Anti actually setting the fastest lap. So showing there is some competition out there from this new driver. But anyway, I expect almost all these drivers will have that 3-second penalty or more by the time this race is over. These track limits are very, very difficult to stay on top of. And now it's through turn 3, we see another penalty being given out, this time to Zakario. And Tige is maybe looking to see if Isasko has a similar thing happen to him as we enter through the chicane now. It looks like Rasta and Kevwood are having a rough race back there, really, really far back, potentially an extra pit stop putting them there. That is unfortunate. And Sweet Tige is going to bide his time now to look to maybe make a move on the next straight. Let's see what kind of entry and exit he can get into this hairpin. And now Bella is actually closing up on them, with Hazy right behind him as well. So we are seeing a little train here starting to emerge, which is great for us to keep an eye on, with Isasko being the conductor of said train. Can Tige get alongside of him? I don't think so for now. And that will just condense this train even closer together, with Zav responding with another fastest lap attempt. Hemi picks up another 3 second. I believe that's 6 seconds now for him. What'll happen here? Bella is right behind Sweet Tige. She is within dive bomb range. Will he send it? Thinks better of it. Probably a good idea for now. And we see 5 cars now close on track, with Isasco again still being in the lead. I think Isasco gets some pretty good exits, which is just giving him enough breathing room to keep Tige off him. And because Tige can't get by, no one can really get by each other. So it's going to be up to these 2 drivers. If Tige can make a move and kind of open that can up, we will likely see some movement. But right now we are holding station, with the 5 drivers being close on track from P5 through P9. And some penalties in there as well for Hazy and Chenzo in the back of the train. So they definitely want to get a move on here. Chenzo dives to the inside, but the room is just not there. Perhaps just a little bit too late on that one. And Hazy and Solrak pick up a 3 second through that corner as well. So yeah, they are really racking up. Let's actually leave that on so we can just keep an eye on that, because I think it will be very relevant for the race result. And we see 6 seconds now for Hazy and Hemi. So those are the 2, and Solrak as well. So those are the 3 drivers with 6 penalties. Everyone else has nothing or 3 seconds to their name. Zavgab is in a pretty good position still in front to, you know, maybe get one and get away with it kind of thing. But obviously, if he can avoid that, he will. Anyway, we are still stationary, with Tige not being able to get close enough to Isasco. The clouds are in the air, but I'm not sure if any moisture is coming with them. But we do see Bella on the inside of Tige, who is pushed to the outside curb, and now Bella is making contact with Chenzo as well on the outside of turn 2. Some elbows are out for sure. Didn't quite see that whole move from the beginning, but nothing too worrying with that kind of exchange there. We will continue racing, with Tige now losing some touch with Isasco, who is actually gaining on Zakario, who has the penalty. So right now Zakario is in range of losing some spots, and Chenzo joins the club. 6 seconds to Chenzo's name now. That is something I don't really say very often. But anyway, Hazy Ozzy decides to take matters into his own hands. Perhaps Sweet Tige's tires are now giving up a little bit, and Tige joins the group of drivers with the penalties, with Chenzo now being right beside the French driver. This is the home track for Zav, Tige, Hemi, Rasta, I forgot to mention, who live very close to the track. I'm sure they want to put in a good performance for their fans at home, tuning in, of course. This is the premier F2 racing league that I can see on the internet right now, so this must be the best drivers in the world. Hazy is right behind Isasco, who looks to make the move now into turn 1. How much of an advantage does Hazy have in the straight line compared to Isasco? Looks like it's not very much, but it is enough to allow him to be on the inside. Isasco holding his line initially, and he is now at the inside of turn 2. We head to 3 now, with Isasco being in the primary kind of better position. What will he do here? He will allow Hazy to take that spot after a very nice battle between the 2 drivers. And now Chenzo looking to immediately pounce off of that exchange. He will get by Isasco for P6, but Isasco does have 6 seconds of breathing room to, you know, potentially get back up those spots if he can stay with these guys. Anyway, like I said, we did see the drivers kind of move through Isasco there once that bottle was uncapped. We did move through, and looks like Sweet Tige had a moment throughout all that. I missed that entirely, but he is now into P12. I think his tires are a little bit of a problem right now. Let's check that again. Yeah, so he is one of the drivers on the softer, more worn tires at this point. Looks like he pits. Okay, that's what happened. He has 0 lap tires, so he pits, potentially just foreseeing the future there. And he's going to see if that will benefit him. But he is quite a ways back now. Lots of clear to make up for in 4 or 5 laps, I guess you could call it, with someone else going in the pit lane there. Who was that? That was Zakario. So definitely these super softs are not going to make it if the drivers are having to do that already. So the soft tire definitely was the tire to choose if you wanted to get to the end. We'll see if any safety cars can allow some gaps to be closed. But right now, Zav is pretty much half asleep in P1 there with 6 seconds over his nearest rival. And we see Hazy and Chenzo now doing battle through turn 5, with Bella getting by Isasco there as well through the corner. Chenzo is hot on Hazy's heels, and both of these drivers have identical situations in terms of penalties. So this will be for position on track. Hazy does have the incentive to defend here, but obviously not too much. Let's see what happens on the next straight here, and particularly into this hairpin. Looks like Hazy got a good exit there. And now we head through the hairpin. Chenzo taking a very nice line close to the inside curbs there, which allows him to slightly extend his advantage out of that acceleration zone. Or sorry, that was Hazy, sorry, in front. That was not Chenzo. And now Chenzo is going to be the one gaining with his DRS open, but it's obviously not going to be enough for now. And he will have to bide his time for another lap to potentially put an attack on Hazy. Sasko is slowly slipping away, but he is still in the point scoring range, with JJ now threatening to take that away. And then we have a huge gap to Dastardly behind in P9. I think his tires are very, very worn now. Tej did make up some time on Zakario, who did pit in front of him, or sorry, Tilmo, who was in front of him, but I just don't think it's going to be enough with the laps we have. Potentially some were looking for a safety car in this race to make that strategy work, but it just didn't happen. We're running out of laps here, so I'm not sure if it will. Anyway, Chenzo is still behind Hazy. We'll see what the drivers will do into sector 2 and 3. I'll have to look at the track map. I keep saying Mac. Track map. There we go. Just to make sure I know the corner names here. Give me 1 second. Just really want to know this hairpin. Okay, the hairpin is turn 10. Okay, so I was right earlier. Turn 10 we go through now. With Chenzo taking the inside line and Hazy swinging a little bit wider, but allowing himself to maintain some good momentum. But Chenzo is very close now. Is this enough to put Hazy under pressure? Hazy is trying to break the toe. Chenzo is looking to move to the inside, and Chenzo should have this done. That's where you want to be on the inside here. Hazy backs off, doesn't want any contact through there, and he does pick up a 3-second, trying to kind of leave the room for Chenzo. So that will put him 3 seconds further back from where he was before, which I believe is up to 9 seconds now. So Bella could jump up a lot of spots here. Let's see what happens to him with 3 laps left to go. Hemi hasn't really been able to get much done with the driver in front of him, FC Anti. Looks like FC1 Anti is quite the quick driver. So a good diamond in the rough signing here. But I guess the closest cars on track would be Tej and now Tilmo, and then Hazy and Chenzo in the front there. So now Tej has the freshest tires on, I believe, in the entire field, either him or Zakario. I think they did the same kind of strategy. So potentially he could make a couple spots up, but he's not going to get any higher than P9 most likely, because there's a long, clear road ahead of Dastardly here between him and JJ and P8. Hazy is keeping Chenzo honest for sure, but now it's in Chenzo's favor. Chenzo could even drop back and still finish ahead because he has an extra 3 seconds of penalties. Hazy does, rather. We did see Hemi make a move on Anti there and also maintain the DRS as well. So no moves will be available into turn 1, as now we're on the penultimate lap, on lap 13 already, with no caution flags coming out. This does kind of happen sometimes when you have a smaller race, kind of more low-key race. It's just less that can go wrong, and the game doesn't tend to freak out as much when there are incidents. So we are looking to stay green for this entire event, at least for the first sprint race. But I think things will remain relatively stationary. Potentially something could happen here with FC1 and Hemi. Let's check their penalties. I think Hemi has more. Oh no, they don't. They have identical. So now you see more and more people having the 6-second and 9-second penalty values next to their name. So yeah, it's very, very difficult out there for that. We did see some lockups into turn 10 there, but everything is okay for now. Can FC1 get close to Hemi? Let's see here. DRS is now open. FC will gain, but obviously it's not going to be enough. Looks like Kevwood has waved the white flag, the white flag for now, so he's going to come back into the feature race with FC1 getting a good run through that corner. but Hemi did as well. So not enough space here to make a move. And now we're on the final lap with Zav, again, just kind of snoozing this one away into P1. Hemi having a little bit of pressure behind him. We do see Sweet Tej getting by Dastardly. But beyond Zakario, Tej is not going to really be able to do anything else. Bella is 5 seconds behind the nearest car, so he will most likely jump at least one position on Hazy Aussie there, but I do not think he's going to be getting Chenzo. But FC1 still behind Hemi. Yeah, I'm not sure, Mr. Alvis, what happened there. I think Kevwood just kind of gave up. He's had a tough race today. I think at the time of that, he was 50 seconds behind, so nothing doing there. Looking to just move on. And we did see, what was that, Rasta picking up another penalty as well. So the only drivers to keep it clean, one of them is Zavgab, who dominated this race from the very beginning, having an 8-second gap almost over Hemi with no penalties to his name. So when you look at the end result, it'll look like he was almost a pit stop ahead. But anyway, he will take the checkered flag here at his home track to take the sprint race victory. Very well done. Not the most exciting win for sure, but very well executed. Hemi will take P2 over FC1, who got very close in the end, but just wasn't close enough. Chenzo now is making his way through the Wall Champions chicane, brushing the wall a little bit, but he does get through there clean, so he will drop 6 seconds. And then Hazy will drop 9. So what happens to Bella here? I think he's going to get Hazy. And that's it. So Bella does move up 1 position into P5. JJ crosses for P7. Isasko looks like he left the session, perhaps some connection issues. He finishes in P8 with Zakario, I believe, just missing out on the points in P9. Tej just not having the safety cars he needed to make the strategy work in P10. And then we have the remainder of the drivers here. Dastardly crosses for P11. Tilmo now looks like he did rejoin the race into P12. Rasta had a tough one coming down the straight here at his home track. The track that he does actually volunteer at in real life. So he knows all the ins and outs, but looks like he just didn't have it today in P13. Solrak will finish with 19 seconds of penalties. But that was our sprint race. So yes, guys, for sure a lower key event tonight. Definitely some absenteeism to deal with, but we did see some good action there. And we were just gonna kind of chill together and see the end of this Flower Cup season with the feature race now coming up. And I think Zav is going to be in a good position to take another win here, because he looked really strong in that race, and he's now going to have some people behind him who were quite far down in terms of the actual qualifying times. I think it was like a 1.5 seconds between him and the next car, whoever that was. So Zav should just look to get a good start and kind of see the rest of the race as it happens. We could be seeing some safety cars. We could be seeing some weather, make a change to the next race. Let's see what happens. But we did see Zavgab picking up 11 points there. Why did he get 11 points? I don't know. Is it 11 for P1? I don't even remember now. Anyway, Zav got P1 with Hemi getting 8 points behind him. Chenzo did finish lower down in the order, but he does have 2 points for the pole position. So sorry, it was Chenzo who's going to be in the front, not Zav. I get those two mixed up sometimes. Chenzo will look to have a pretty wide open race here. Anyway, FC1 Anti doing well into P, I guess it was 3 on the track, but P4 overall. Bella, another strong result. Hazy and JJ staying pretty clean, close together on track for P6 and 7 overall. And Isasko does pick up the last point of the event. We now look forward to the feature race, which will be the longer race, with a mandatory pit stop being a part of that, of course, and potentially some weather that I may or may not have cooked up. We will see. And here it is. The doctor has arrived. The order has come through. We have some rain here to deal with into this first turn and on these first laps. Let's see if that will maintain its consistency and its intensity. But that will make this first corner extra interesting for us to watch as viewers. Looks like Tilmo's having some problems again. Hopefully he can get back in. I know sometimes my connection is not the best, so that could be at play as well. I am, I think, hosting this lobby, so they are at my mercy. I apologize, guys. Anyway, the rain has arrived at Montreal, just like in real life we saw this year, I believe it was it for quali or something? I don't even remember. We do see rain on this track quite often. Canada, if you ever lived here, you'd know the weather is about as predictable as these races are. So let's see what happens now. As we have Chenzo looking to set the race off here in pole position with the 5 red lights going up and quickly going out. Again, we have some movement, which doesn't really make sense to me. This could be a big problem. We have several drive-thrus there for Solrak. And then I think the 2 ghosted machines, Isasco and Tilmo, did get ahead of the field due to some glitch there with them not being around. And that has brought out the safety car on lap 1. Come on, I wanted a good wet start and the safety car is out, just not letting us do that. That may... Oh my god, what is going on? Do we have a broken race here? Let's see. That may be due to those drivers not being in the session and some glitches happening. That sucks. I wanted to see a nice, tight opening lap in some wet conditions, but looks like I didn't get that. And we are under the safety car immediately here, with Solrak already retiring. Drivers, if you are watching and you do have the stream available to you, I don't know what's going on. Chenzo almost took out Tilmo and Isasco, who were stopped on track. Oh my god, and their AI is holding people up. Oh, I can't even describe this mess. This is a travesty already. I apologize to the viewers here. Let's see if the game can sort itself out. Anyway, what I was trying to say earlier before that happened is if you are a driver in this race and you guys have made a collective decision to restart it or whatever, if there's some glitch going on I can't see, let me know. I can, of course, make that happen. But right now, let's hope that things will fix themselves here, as you never want to see a race start out like that when, you know, the most things that can happen or go wrong are immediately taken away because some glitch going on here. And yeah, I think so. You saw like Isasco and I think it was Tilmo just immediately like jump, and it almost seemed like they had a different like kind of start time than everyone else did, because they didn't get any drive-thrus for doing that. And of course they weren't in control, so it wasn't anything they did on purpose, but like the game just let them do that and kind of start early and get ahead. So if they can get back in here, that might change things up here. But I imagine a lot of people are going to be frustrated having their AI controlled cars in front of them. So I think Tilmo is actually back, because he's not driving like a computer anymore, I don't think. Oh, maybe it's because Zakario was pressuring him. I'm not sure if he's here or not. The ghost does kind of disappear when we're under the safety car. Yeah, I don't think that... Oh! I saw a piece of wing flying around there. I don't think that's Isasco driving right now. I could be wrong, though. Alright, let's see what happens here. So the pack is bunched up. Normally that would kind of satisfy the criteria for the safety car to go in. If it doesn't go in, that may be a sign that we have a bigger problem, but crisis averted. The race will resume on lap 2, as it should have from the beginning. And let's see if this rain sticks around. I had a few tricks up my sleeve for this one, but I'm not going to spoil anything. But I do expect to see some change coming up. Anyway, so Tilmo is still, I believe, under AI control, so that will hamper anyone behind him. And let's just see how much of a gap this creates with the field. Because the AI tend to get left in the dust a little bit. As now... I'm not sure if that's Tilmo or not driving. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Looks like we have gotten underway though, and Tilmo did allow that gap to emerge anyway, with Chenzo having a very, very good restart there, maintaining his P1 position over Anti. And yeah, I couldn't tell you if Tilmo is here or not. His car is not ghosted anymore, but who knows what that means. Anyway, we see Zav making his push through the field. He did have the DSQ in quali there, with JJ losing several positions there, along with Sweet Teej. Wonder what happened there. Sweet Teej goes around the outside of Dastardly momentarily through 4 and now 5, turning to the inside momentarily, but then again opening up to the outside. Dastardly is under attack from JJ, who outbreaks himself and hits Teej from behind, just getting caught up in that battle there. And Teej is comes off worse for that. He made the clean move, but he gets hit in the rear because I believe JJ did make contact with him there. As now we see JJ and Hemi neck and neck through the chicane with the drivers ahead as well doing battle. Eventually the action gets sorted out with Dastardly falling back to P10. Will Hazy try to make the move on Teej? We see Tilmo. Yeah, I think Tilmo's definitely in control because it's not how an AI would look. Tilmo is causing quite the stir up there with Kevwood and Zav now battling, trying to get by him with Sicario right ahead of them. Kevwood and Zav neck and neck into the wall champions. Looks like Kevwood has a little bit stronger car in the straight line, which allows him to be in front, but Zav just lifts off the brakes there and slides his car nicely to the inside line and takes P4, with Anti setting the fastest lap and keeping Chenzo honest, which is awesome for us. I did not want to see someone just walk away. Anti looks to be a very competent driver. Diamond in the rough, as I said. Hemi does make the move on Hazy there, now looking to do the same on Dastardly into turn 3 coming up. But just the exit is not strong enough right now. I imagine it's not going to be long though. Potentially into the next chicane, you should be seeing Hemi try something. He does want to get by. Dastardly's in the middle of the racing line there. Hemi had to back off a little bit, and that kind of ruined his momentum. But Dastardly does go a little bit deep, which opens the corner up for Hemi to be on the outside. But someone else is right there. Hazy just kind of pokes his nose in there and says, hello, I'm coming through. I'm going to try and get by Dastardly too while I'm at it. Let's see what happens here. Hazy does back off, and Dastardly does break a little bit earlier than the other two drivers with some contact being made there. And now all 3 of them are right next to each other on the track. I think someone might have some damage there. Who is that? Hemi might have some damage. Wow, very tight battling we see here with Tilmo falling down the order. Now with Sweet Teej and Isasko getting by. Kevwood looking good to recover from that tough race to begin the night. Anti still behind Chenzo. And Zav is going to look to get the move done on Sicario here. Let's see what happens into turn 1. I think the rain has stopped, gentlemen. There's no more raindrops falling. So that should see the grip improve dramatically here. And it's at a point now, we see Zav on the inside of Sicario, where the DRS has been enabled, so the stewards are confident the track has improved. And that will really change the race, because right now, we're in a moment where I'm not sure the tires available might be able to get to the end from this stage. We have 15 laps, which I believe is longer than the sprint race was. So what will the drivers do here? I imagine they're going to go for those soft tires. And what will happen between the 2 drivers in the lead here, Anti and Chenzo, with Anti now getting the DRS, allowing him to stick closer to the driver in front. Zavgab, same thing. He has potentially a spot for the move here, but those tires are just inconsistent. Hard to send a move when the track is dry like this. And Chenzo has a huge rear end lock there. Lucky Anti was not closer to him. That could have been a bad situation. And now Anti has a great run through that hairpin with Zavgav moving on the inside of Sicario simultaneously. And Hazy just getting it a little bit wrong on the outside of Hemi there. Not sure what happened there. Anyway, Sicario does fight back. Looks like Zav has a little bit of a draggy car today. And we have 2 5-second penalties being given out to the leaders, which is huge for anyone potentially looking to battle them from behind. Everyone, I'm sure, will come into the pit here. It was kind of a long time ago when people did pass the pit lane. We have another 5-second being given out to Hemi. So the drivers are racking them up, and they won't be able to serve them now. It's just too late for them to do that. Dastardly stays out and sets the fastest lap on the wet tires. Let's see what happens to him and JJ, who does the same, as now Chenzo is heading out of the pit lane with Anti right behind him. what'll happen here. I imagine these two are going to rapidly close on the drivers ahead. Chenzo has a bad exit onto the track, and Antti takes advantage and moves to the inside and overtakes him out of the pit lane, moving himself into, I believe, the provisional first place with these two drivers ahead, most likely having to pit on the next lap here. And Antti has made the move. So now can Chenzo respond to that? And will that battle between them allow these two drivers, Zav and Sicario, to catch up? Let's see what happens. And now we see Antti and Chenzo eating into the gap ahead of JJ and Dastardly. So definitely it is dry tire time now. Let's ride on board. And Zav is still engaged with Sicario. He almost had the move done, but Sicario battled back down the straight there. And now Antti is going to look to get by the wet runner of JJ. Hopefully JJ kind of realizes what's going on and goes into the pit lane here. I don't want to see him do another lap. That wouldn't be good. All right, he's going to pit for sure, which leaves the track open for Antti and Chenzo to do a nice little battle here for us to sink our teeth into. Chenzo has the DRS open. He's going to move to the inside line. Antti does move over a little bit, but overall they keep it clean with Chenzo now taking the inside, which eventually becomes the outside for turn 2. And a safety car is pulled, is called right as that happens, which allows Antti to maintain that position. What caused that? I think that was... no, not Dastardly. I'm not sure. There's no DNFs there. Maybe Dastardly had some issue entering the pit lane, but I don't see a damaged car or anything, so unsure what caused that. We have another stoppage in the race here. So lap 7 is now our current lap, so we're looking to maybe get started on, I would estimate, lap 9. So that'll leave you with 12, 11 laps to do. I think it is in the driver's best interest to pit again. But of course, that's just me sitting here saying that. It's going to be hard to do that considering you just put those tires on. But I do think whoever has the opportunity to do that might benefit from that. Potentially Chenzo could do that with a huge gap being behind him and Sicario. That would put him in a better position than Antti in front in terms of tire life. I imagine Antti is going to stay out here because he is kind of on an island alone. But Chenzo might have an opportunity to gain an advantage here. Let's see what happens. I do think it's in the driver's best interest to pit, but of course it's the prisoner's dilemma. If one person does it and no one else, then it screws that person over. But looks like Antti has decided to take the new tires, but he has picked up an additional 5 seconds. So he will serve 5 seconds right now, but he will also leave the pit lane with 5 seconds on his name. So that was unfortunate for him. That kind of makes it very hard for him now to defeat Chenzo potentially. And Sicario and Zav looks like stayed out. So we did see some drivers changing. Yeah, it's just it's a tough call considering you just put those tires on. Maybe another safety car could disrupt the race again. But I imagine you're going to see Chenzo have some serious pace now. And with the field being bunched up, that gap, this field spread will be smaller. So let's see if that was the right call. That was just my intuition. But let's see what happens. As now we have Sicario inheriting the lead by staying out. And let's just get an idea of everyone's tire situation while we have a chance. So 2 laps is the difference between the drivers in front and the people who are on the new super soft tire. Okay, super soft tires have been strapped on. That is interesting because I don't think those tires can get to the end from here. We did see drivers struggle on those last race, just struggling to get home and having to make an extra stop. So that is interesting. Chenzo's going to have some amazing pace, but it might die out right when he needs to have it. That has really thrown a wrench into things here. And then we do see Antti as well putting on the super soft, so he did the same thing, and Hemi is on them as well. So majority of the drivers are on 2 or 1 lap old tires, but a couple of them are on the brand new super softs. Kevwood's looking pretty good now, taking advantage of some of those drivers pitting. He's in P3 after a tough sprint race. So hoping he can keep the focus up, keep the pace up, and maintain his position, or at least stay around where he is now. He's got his rival Isasco behind him, and Tej, who are going to be looking to change that. Oh my god, Iasasco just braked in the middle of the straight there. Potentially scared of hitting someone, but man, that almost caused a huge accident. As now we see someone in the pit lane, Anti in the pit lane again, so he's going to get rid of that 5-second penalty, so he is showing some long-term thinking there, and now he will have the freshest tires of the entire field. So let's see what he can do. He's going to be further back than Chenzo will be, who I think has a good shot to make something happen, but I think for Chenzo to really benefit, he needs one more safety car. Anyway, what'll happen? Looks like we have a bit of a field spread now with a couple people pitting there. Anti, I believe, pit, but it looks like his tires are 2 laps old, so maybe he put on the same tires he had there. I'm not sure. Not sure if that was beneficial for him or not. But anyway, I don't know if the safety car is going to get going here. I think those drivers through pit were just a little bit too far back. Let's see, though, what race control says. With Sicario being ahead of the field. And I do think it will be going out for one more lap unless these drivers can really close up here. For one more lap here. So lap 10 into 11 is when we're going to be getting going. So that'll leave us with 10 laps to complete. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. It's a little bit lower key race tonight, just not as much action as we usually see. But of course, we're trying to make the most of it. A lot of drivers aren't here for various reasons. Hopefully you are enjoying, though, as always. And if you are, you know, I appreciate your feedback, any comments, likes, anything you had to say constructively, or, you know, just a compliment, of course, is well encouraged. And you know, the better we can do that, the more eyes will be seeing these races, and potentially, who knows, we might be on the front page of YouTube one day with the same drivers. some wishful thinking there, I know, but do your best to spread the word, spread the race out to your friends and family, show them why you lock your door for 2 hours every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and potentially you might be gaining some backing in the stands. Anyway, my plug is over. We're now back into the race here, with the race most likely getting restarted on lap 10 into 11. Alright, so we should be seeing an announcement here. There it is, right on cue. Safety car is going in this lap, so we're going to resume the race at around halfway now. The clouds have dissipated, the rain has gone away. That allows us a nice, dry, open track to finish off this race and this season on. Let's see if another stoppage happens, and let's also see how Sicario manages this restart. With Zav right behind him, ready to go. Sicario has gone now? Yes, he has, because Zav is accelerating. And I don't know if that was the best timed one. I think that was a little bit early, but anyway, Zav can't do anything now. Now he can make the move, because the safety car line was, I believe, there. Will Zav have the momentum to make the move into turn 1? Oh, he does. He sends it on the inside, with Sicario leaving him room to do so. And Sicario maintains that inside line. Iasasco and Hazy, Dastard, Sweetige are swapping positions, with Chenzo moving up a couple already. And Chenzo's going to be the guy to keep an eye on for sure. He's the highest up on those fresher tires, on the softer tires. Wow, he has so much grip. Look at him. He almost had enough to go around the outside there. JJ. The two cars got very close together there. And Chenzo needs to make these moves happen quickly, as we see Iasasco and Hazy doing battle through the chicane, with Hazy getting through. And we do see an incident in the back there. Tilmo, I believe, having a spin or something happened to him. He's now in last place. Hemi is making moves as well on Rasta now through the chicane. We do see some penalties as well, but honestly not as much as we saw last race for whatever reason. Chenzo on the aggressive, diving on the inside of JJ Knotts, almost hitting Dastardly there, but of course he gets, uses all the space available to him, and now Dastardly will be his next target into P6. Zav is still behind Sicario, and the two are neck and neck now into the wall of champions. Zavgab gets the move done by taking the inside line. Can Sicario fight back? Zav does have a little bit more drag than the other cars do around him, it seems like. but Zaccario does allow that move to happen, and Zav is now into P1 with Kevwood immediately trying to take advantage of Zaccario. Being hesitant there, and he does, getting to P2 with some brief contact being made there. Oh, and someone tried to go at the outside there. Who is that? That was Hazy. Oh my god. I think he maybe just outbraked a little bit, but overall, that was a scary moment for Kevwood. And Chenzo is really liking what he's seeing here. He wants these drivers to battle, because that's going to allow him to stay with them. Hemi as well is now right behind Chenzo. And Chenzo is still behind Dastard, so Dastard's doing a good job to maintain his position on the harder tires. Chenzo now looking to get the cutback and the move on the inside here as we see the beautiful rays of sun gracing the track now. Chenzo is on the inside of Dastard, who does try and put on a fight, but he just brakes a little bit too late there and heads into the runoff of turn 10 with Hemi as well being able to get by because of that. So Chenzo is now moving up to P6 with Isasco being the next driver in front of him. Hemi would like to get in front of Chenzo if he can and try and build a gap, but that's going to be very difficult as Chenzo's going to have the first shot of really anyone. Oh, Chenzo I think thought about moving on Isasco there, but it was perhaps a little bit too dangerous. And he just had to tuck in behind there at the last second. Surely, though, he's going to go for the move here. Isasco does move to the inside slightly, but Chenzo takes that line and that position with Hemi following him through. The two are kind of doing a nice synchronized dance here, following each other through the fields. And now Chenzo is looking to overtake Zaccario, so he is moving. But now is going to be around the time where potentially his tires are going to start fading away. He has clocked 5 laps on them already, which is less less laps than the soft runners in front, but of course his tire is much softer and much more, you know, likely to develop that wear. We see Hazy and Kevwood doing battle into the chicane here, with Hazy getting into P2 with a very, very nice tidy move. Will Kevwood respond? Kevwood does have an incentive to fight this. Hazy does have the penalty. Kevwood does not. If Kevwood can trip him up a little bit and keep him behind him a little bit longer, he might be able to stay ahead. Hemi and Chenzo do battle through turn 10, with Chenzo just getting the better run there. And now Hemi is looking to respond with a car in front of him. That's Zaccario. Will Chenzo be the first one in line? Yes, he will, to take that spot. And can Hemi follow him through? Yes, he can. Wow, these two are really in sync tonight. And they are flying through the field now, making headway and moving closer to Kevwood. Let's see how long that gap can be maintained. It's 1.8 seconds right now. And it immediately dropped down 2/10 in one turn there. So Kevwood will be under pressure most likely in a couple laps. Let's see if he can hold off the drivers long enough to allow his tires to become faster. But Zav is going to have to really take advantage of this. He's going to have to keep building this gap because he could have some fast guys flying at him in a couple laps here. He wants no safety cars. He wants to just see this race out and maintain this track position. As now Chenzo has pulled in around half a second since we last checked in on Kevwood. And Kevwood picks up the time penalty through that chicane, which will put him on the back foot. So Chenzo is now ahead of him with the penalty considered, but of course he wants to do more than that. He's going to look to overtake Kevwood and bring the battle to Hazy in front as well. And Hemi will look to follow him through and potentially take advantage of one of these instances where perhaps Chenzo doesn't get the move done. That would be a chance for Hemi to battle back. But let's see how Chenzo can close in on Kevwood. Too far back for now, but let's see his run through here. Very, very strong, using all of the track and allowing his momentum to carry through. And now Kevwood is under immense pressure from Hemi and Chenzo. Chenzo is boxing Hemi in behind Kevwood. Hemi tries to move into the clean air there. Oh my god, and Chenzo loses his braking point there, and the safety car is brought out due to a Dastardly Daddy incident. What happened to Dastardly? I'm not sure. Looks like through the Wall Champions. I just saw his car disappear there, so the Wall Champions claims another victim, and now Dastardly will be the latest victim on that list. And here we see the safety car, so I think the drivers are going to have an incentive to pit here again, depending on what their tires are and what they have available to them. But that makes things just a little bit more tricky for Zav to figure this out. Chenzo is in P5 with no penalties, so that is in Zav's favor. He's the closest driver without a penalty behind him. But who knows how close Zav is to getting that penalty. He could be one warning away. So that could quickly change. So I do think we're going to see one more pit stop for a majority of the drivers. Potentially some tire allocation issues getting in the way for some of them. But I don't think Hemi or Chenzo are going to want to keep those tires on as they currently are. Oh, we see a bump in the back there between Hemi and Kevwood. But no penalties dished out, thankfully, for that. So let's see what happens in the pit lane here. Zavgab, you know, is going to go in. He has no reason not to. But he picks up the drive-through, speeding under the safety car. Oh, no. That safety car was the last thing he wanted, and that has ruined his race, which has opened that up for potentially Kevwood to swoop in there. On the older tires, though, let's see. It's going to be tough for him to maintain that. Rostachich joins his fellow Quebecer, picking up a drive-through as well. That is a problem with this track. For whatever reason, the safety car pitting, if you get a penalty, if you speed into that, it just gives you a drive-through immediately. I've never seen that in any other track, at least I don't think. But it seems to be an issue with this one. And that has caught some drivers out who will not be able to get rid of those penalties until we go green flag running, so they are pretty much out of it. That's going to be Zav and Rasta with mutual fates at the back of the pack there. And we have a lot of drivers here staying out on those old tires. Sweet Tea, Isasco, Bella, JJ, Zakario, and Kevwood are those drivers. And Kevwood now has a nice kind of army or a buffer between him and the people behind him on the fresh tires. Zav could do him a favor, you know, he could stay out, not serve that penalty, hold these guys up a little bit longer. That would really help him out. But that's going to be very interesting because those tires are going to be very, very, very worn by the time that last lap is upon us. Anyway, we see someone losing control there. Zav, I think, potentially retaliating against Isasco. Not sure what happened there. Maybe Zav had the drive-through happen because someone bumped him. Didn't see that. I'm going to leave that up for him to explain. I'm sure he has some reason why that happened. Anyway, we're going to continue for one more lap here, bringing us on to lap 17, which will leave us with 3 laps, 18, 19, and 20, to race. Wow, Kevwood looking really good here with more of these issues happening behind him. And Isasco is the highest driver right now without a penalty. So that could come into handy for him too. Sweet Cheese also could benefit from that, but I think Sweet Cheese is going to be under a lot of pressure here from these boys on the Super Softs. He might not be able to truly stretch his legs and maintain those gaps. You see Antti and Tilmo swapping positions, potentially some confusion going on there with race control. But now, hopefully, we are seeing the race resume here. Let's see what kind of restart Kevwood can get on Zakario. So Kevwood, Zakario, and JJ. Bella as well, all in positions they are not in very often. Yes, Zakario has had some good results, same thing with Bella recently. But this is a high pressure moment for them. And oh no, don't tell me we're going to have one more safety car lap. Please no, that would not be good. Of course, Kevwood wants that. But there it is. The safety car is in this lap. So Kevwood will have to quickly get his tires ready here and also plan out how he's going to get this restart underway. I think he's trying to go as early as possible, but that can be problematic because the safety car will make you stop. Kevwood is trying to just get the band-aid ripped off here and just get going. Let's see if the game will let him. But you can see the game slowing him down there, allowing Zakario to be right behind him, with Zakario having a clear shot now at the lead potentially into turn 1. We are resumed here, but Kevwood is far enough ahead. And Zav does serve that drive-through, so it looks like he's not going to get in the way of any of the action here. Hazy will now be looking to slice through these drivers ahead. Sweet Tige being the first target on the old tires. Chenzo as well, kind of just a cork in the bottle here. Someone needs to get a move on. We only have 3 laps left. Will Hazy dive here? Oh my goodness! Oh! Isasco went over top of Sweet Tige! He went over top of his car, holy crap! Oh my god, I'm gonna have to clip that. Anyway, Hazy I think got through there on Sweet Tige, who is now being swarmed by the new drivers, the new tire drivers. Oh wow. This is going to be a finish here. Zakario as well is all over Kevwood. Who do we watch here? I don't know. Oh, Hazy Ozzy with a huge dive on Isasco. Very, very well executed. And now Hemi's going to look to pick up the pieces. What will happen here down the straight towards the World Champions again for the 18th time? Hemi, he's got to be careful here. Isasco can lag a little bit. Will he send it? Yes, he will on the inside of the World Champions. No fear from Hemi, and he does get that move done. Chenzo now looking to repeat that into turn 1. He's going to need this done immediately as well if he wants any chance of staying with these guys. We have lots of action here. Hazy is getting up there now with Hemi trying to follow him through. Oh my goodness, they are getting closer to Kevwood, but the laps are running out. This has quickly turned into a barn burner here. We have no idea how this is going to finish up. Kevwood needs to not get any more penalties than what he currently has. He also needs to maintain that P1. Oh, we have some contact in the back there between Hazy and JJ, I believe that was. Hazy gets through. He is now right behind these 2 drivers on the soft tires. 10 laps older on the harder compound as well. Chenzo's doing his best to maintain his distance to the fellow drivers on the fresh tires. We see Hemi and Hazy now getting by Zakario, which leaves Kevwood all on his lonesome for one more lap here. But Hemi and Hazy are battling, helping Kevwood out, giving him some breathing room. But now Hemi, probably the last driver Kevwood wants to see, is going to be behind. Oh, but Hazy has a great run through there. Not sure what happened there. Some slowing down in the straight there by Hemi there. So that gives Kevwood some further breathing room. Come on, Kevwood, no mistakes. You got this. Let's see this win out. Oh my, he's going to be feeling the pressure. I can guarantee you that. The controller is getting sweaty. The DRS is enabled as well. Oh, he goes too deep. No! Kevwood is under attack now. Hazy's going to look to go around the outside. And I think the win is in the balance here. Kevwood is fighting with every breath he can, holding that inside line. And Hemi takes advantage of that, now being the driver to pressure Kevwood immediately on the last lap here into P1. Will Hemi dive to the outside? He will. Hazy will look to follow him through. Kevwood's going to maintain his line, but the 2 come together, and they all hit the wall with Kevwood squeaking through. Can Kevwood get by? No, he can't. Looks like he's fallen down, and Chenzo has now ghosted through that entire battle, and he will miraculously take this win with several drivers behind him racking up penalties. Oh, I would have loved to see a slow-mo of what happened there with Kevwood, Hazy, and Hemi. I imagine some words are being exchanged right now in the chat. Oh, we see someone losing the back end there. I think that's JJ just hanging on with Anti now recovering from the dead almost into P6. But Chenzo will take the win comfortably. Any last moves here into the World Champions? Oh, Anti's right behind Tige. Tige needs to get a good run. Looks like he has it. Hemi picks up the 3 seconds. Tige is going to be bumping up some spots here into P2. Well done, Tige. Very, very, very good. Very, very well done. Hanging in there on those old tires, under pressure, under fire. You know, keeping his chin up, his head down at the same time. Doesn't really make sense now that I say it. But he did a very, very good job maintaining that P2 and not getting any penalties. Congratulations to Sweet Tige, who does pick up this race's driver of the day. I would agree with that one. Oh, Kevwood got so close to the win there. Just a couple mistakes, putting him under pressure, and then a big kind of collision ending his chance there. I'd love to hear some feedback from the drivers, and I will be doing that as soon as this broadcast is over. But here we see the podium here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve with Chenzo taking the top spot in the feature race. Made it a little bit harder for himself than it really had to be, but at the end of the day, he completes that pole position and converts it to a victory with Sweet Cheese doing an awesome job, and I'm not sure who else that was. I forgot. I apologize. Let me look it up here as now it pops up. That was... Oh, it's hard to tell. Let's go to this screen here. Bella picks up, because that's the Sweet Cheese's teammate. That makes sense in the high tech. Bella picks up the third place out of the feature race with Sicario in P4, and he picks up the fastest lap in P5, which will give him an extra point. Isasko in P6, very good race for him. Kevwood, just an unfortunate ending to the event tonight. Hazy, Tilmo, and JJ are the last drivers to pick up points, and overall, Chenzo is the highest scorer of the event, picking up a whopping 32 points in comparison to the 19 of the next highest driver, which is Bella Stew. Sweet Cheese getting all of it done in the feature race there with the third highest score of the weekend with 18 points. Guys, that was it for the Flower Cup Season 1. We have now concluded the season, so it was a great season. I kind of started my coverage a little bit more than halfway into it, so we will be covering it from the ground up moving forward. And Season 2 will be next Tuesday, same time, same place, 8 p.m., same channel. We don't know the track yet because we haven't designed the schedule, but we will be doing that. And we'll be looking forward to another exciting season of intense action. I'll tell you right now, Hazy and Rami are never going to be on the same F2 team again. But other than that, we should be seeing a brand new season with some brand new explosive action. And some new winners as well. So thank you again for joining me again. Apologize for the relatively low numbers tonight. It's just what you can do sometimes, given the nature of these events. It is kind of secondary to our main event, which is the Mushroom Cup, which is on Monday and Thursdays at the same time, 8 p.m. So if you wanted to check me out while I'm racing, that's the time to do it. Other than that, I will see you next week for the next Flower Cup events. We're not sure what the track will be, but we will announce that as soon as we can, along with the new teams. And we will, of course, look forward to another season of explosive action. Thank you again, Hazy and Rami, for putting on a great show. Awesome job winning the Constructors. And Hazy, again, congratulations on your first, I believe, driver's title of any shape or form in any Mushroom Cup or Flower Cup event. So that is a monumental occasion. Have a drink on me, sir. Other than that, though, I will complete the broadcast for the night. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Greg Jennings, your host, as always. Again, drop a like, subscribe, comment if you feel the need to. Spread the word to your friends and family. And we will see you next week for Tuesday, Flower Cup action. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.